Bill Isaacs was not afraid of greatness. He achieved it. As lacrosse's first superstar, he learned the game on the Six Nation Reserve when the professional teams came calling.
He and his older brother Lance left the reserve when I guess they were in their late teens or early 20s. They had been recruited to play professional lacrosse, and that's what they did. They left the reserve and left that way of life.
However, the scoring duo's prowess would end in tragedy on the lacrosse court.
Both of them were playing in Toronto at Maple Leaf Gardens, and Lance sustained a heavy blow to the chest and ruptured his heart, and he died right there on the floor. And I do remember my dad talking about Lance a little bit, and he was saying that somebody had been complimenting my dad about how good he was and how superior he was to the other players. And my dad was saying Lance was bigger and he was better than my dad, and so he must have really been something.
Following Lance's death, Bill was regularly recruited for summer and winter leagues around southern Ontario and western New York. But one team he turned down could have provided Hollywood fame.
My dad was recruited by some individuals who were starting up the professional lacrosse league in California on the West Coast. And Dad was targeted as one of the main people. And I guess my mother was pregnant with me at the time, and in that day and age, travel was somewhat hazardous. And they decided that they would pass on that he wouldn't take the position. He wouldn't go to Los Angeles for this team. So they recruited some other people in his place, and interestingly enough, one of them was a fellow who came to be known as Jay Silverheels, who ended up playing Tonto on the Lone Ranger series on television.
The Lone Ranger.
I sort of every once in a while think, that could have been me or my dad.
We've caught up with our old enemy at last.
Me think you right, Kimosabe.
But Bill was no sidekick. The offense went through him. He was routinely the leading scorer in senior Ontario lacrosse. He was on a different level, running the floor and orchestrating plays.
As my father is moving up the court, he was telling people where to go. And it was almost like a dance. You could see people moving, and I could see my father moving from side to side, and I know he was anticipating where things were going to end up, where the ball would go, where it would come out, and where the people were moving. And I thought to myself, it's just like a dance. The problem is, the other people don't hear the music.
Being the top player made Bill a target, but this was common. Bill knew exactly how to divert his opposition's focus.
There was one time he had a laceration on his left leg, on his thigh, above the knee and halfway to his hip. And it wasn't that big. It was maybe about 1 inch to 2 inches long, but it was quite deep, and it was maybe 1/4 inch wide. So they were getting ready to play a game, and what they did is they put a small Band-Aid on his leg. And then on his right leg, where there was nothing wrong, they put a great big wrap, about 6 inches high. And I remember the next day, we were in the house and he was changing, and I looked and I saw his left leg, the cut, was healing quite nicely, no problems. His right leg was a mess. There were bruises all over the place, but they won.
Bill Isaacs amassed over 900 points, won 3 Mann Cups, and left little doubt about his position in lacrosse history.
We never talked about how good he was because it was just accepted. Everybody, whoever I came in contact with, would always not hesitate and simply say, your dad was the best there was.
The Hamilton Sports Hall of Fame welcomes Bill Isaacs.